I listened to you all and watched the trailer for City Skylines 2 again, finding 10 more details in the trailer that can hint to possible features in the actual game. Quick disclaimer before we start, this is me wildly speculating with some of the comments from my last breakdown video. Thank you so much for all that support, I really appreciate it. Now let's get into things. Alright, the first thing that someone noticed is obviously we are following power lines here that then emerge from the ground and go into this streetlight here. So it is very possible that it might be that we do not need power lines anymore as we do in City Skylines 1. I speculated that this was a power line, but it's clearly not. It's like a radio mast or a cell phone reception type thingy. So is it possible that in Cities 2 we actually do not have the need for power lines? Maybe. However, in Cities 1 there is also not a real need for the power lines, because the power bubble that buildings create spread the power from bubble to bubble. So there are actually underground power lines already. I don't know if that would be a feature. It would be kind of cool to see though. Next up, one of my favorite shots from the trailer, the roundabout. Yes, we are here again. And someone pointed out that we have mods in the base game. This definitely just looks like it was done with node controller renewal, network multi-tool, intersection marking tool for sure. I mentioned that before, I just wanted to point it out again. I do think that we're getting mods in the base game. Then right here, the line of the trailer goes, this city has a story. We see this neighborhood right here. It's kind of beat up. It's got graffiti on the walls. Is it a bad neighborhood? I'm not really sure, but it looks kind of run down. And then we transition over after the street. Look at that. We get these nice buildings, it looks like a much better neighborhood in here. So is it actually possible that there are different types of neighborhoods within your city? Maybe something in terms of policies, different policies that you can assign to districts? Does the economy have more of an impact on the game? This is all very interesting, and I'm just super excited for this. Next up, we are going back to the weather change, and I wanted to put the focus on the construction buildings in the background yet again. Let me put that to 0.25x speed. We already speculated about raw materials being needed since the constructions are halting here. It's also possible that someone pointed that out, that it might be dependent on weather. We see these constructions inside of the weather change, so that is very possible that it's actually depending on weather, raw materials. Not 100% sure yet. It would be really cool, because that might mean that would be more realistic life cycles for the citizens if buildings actually take their time to construct themselves. However, as a playing experience, I'm not 100% sure how good that would be if you'd have to wait for the buildings to construct themselves, if you have to deliver raw materials. Maybe these are special buildings. Maybe these are unique buildings. We don't really know that. I just think it's very possible that construction can take some time, can even be dependent on weather, can be dependent on raw materials for a certain type of building. I think that is very possible. Also in this shot, what we see right here, so quickly just staying there, the water feature, I thought about we're going to get water sources. Like there's a mod for CS1 where you can place water source wherever you want on the map. I speculated that that would be in the game. However, it's also possible, and someone pointed that out, that we actually get parks to place down with water features already built in. And I think that would be really cool to have different parks that already have built-in water features, like maybe even something with a waterfall that looks really cool. That I think the parks that you can place down will get a massive overhaul. And I think, I mean, there's another thing. Look at these trees here. Look at the trees are so, like this entire shot of this park. We have a little gazebo right here. It's so amazing. This is really cool. I actually do hope that they add these parks with water features for the players to place down. Next up, the shot of the skyscrapers. It then says, expand way up high and bring life to your creations. So what if the skyscrapers just keep getting taller as they upgrade? I think that would be really amazing. Maybe the player can even choose the rooftop. We have that feature in the Financial District's DLC for Cities 1. Maybe it's also possible that you can choose, that you as the player can choose different types of skyscrapers, or at least if you have a base of a skyscraper, you can choose the different type of top of the building. and make your city look even more unique. And here we also have another park with a lake in it. Maybe, again, water feature park. We have walking paths here. It is amazing. It's so amazing. Jumping to the end of the trailer, someone also pointed out, if we look at the logo, it is clear that it is 4 pieces. 4 pieces, maybe the 4 zoning types, if we still have those: residential, commercial, industrial, office. If we still have that, the number 4 does have significance in the game. In Cities 1 at least, maybe that's a feature in Cities 2, and these parts of the logo represent the 4 zoning types. Also, another thing to note is that someone also pointed out, there are no rail vehicles shown in the trailer, so there's no trains, no metro, no monorail. And I think that's very, very interesting, but at the same time, I just think that's very exciting to see what they actually come up with, maybe in a possible second trailer. Who knows if they are going to show off more of the rail vehicles, because we haven't seen them so far. So that's something to keep an eye out for sure. Also, one other thing to note is that in Cities 1, it was always mentioned that you as the player are the mayor of your city, whereas in this trailer, it is not said a single time. You are not the mayor, but it says you are the creator. You make cities. And I found that kind of interesting. We'll see how that all turns out. Is there going to be maybe a completely new perspective on city building? We'll see what they have in stock for us. And the last bit I wanted to point out, again, in regards to the city in the background, I mentioned it in the previous video as well, or I think in the first breakdown video. This could also indicate, once again, scale, large, massive cities. It could also indicate that you could maybe connect multiple smaller cities into one larger region. Also, maybe that's not your city over here. Like, you built this in the foreground maybe, but maybe this is not your city. Maybe there is a multiplayer feature in the game, what would be really, really cool, I think, and you could maybe visit other cities as a tourist, and you could spend money in other cities. That is something to think about, and I think that is kind of interesting if that would actually be a feature. Alright, once again, keep in mind that I know this trailer is not actual gameplay footage. It says so in the beginning. These are wild speculations on my behalf with the help of your comments, which I really, really appreciate. Drop me a comment. Let me know if you agree with these new details that I found with help from the community, pointing it out in the comments on my last video. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great day and stay safe out there. Bye-bye.